Welcome back, everyone. This is the DomainSherpa Review After Show, where we discuss anything on the minds of our panel. First up, I've got 5 questions from the audience that were submitted along with the currency and Bitcoin-related domain names. Mark Andre submitted bitcoinexchange.ca and wants to know, Adam, I'm going to direct this one to you. He wants to know what a .ca is worth as compared to a .com. Do you have any guidance on what bitcoinexchange.ca might be as compared to .com?
Usually the general rule that I use is 10%.
Okay. Glenn.
But hold on a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
That's taking the .com and getting, let's say, what it's sold for, an accurate price on it, and taking 10% of that. That's not running it through some crazy tool that gives you a ridiculous price.
Okay, based on actual sales of the .com, you're saying 10%.
I mean, you can look at it if you have if you have decent tools and it looks like a reasonable estimate, you can use that. Mm-hmm. But maybe he should use your Rosener's equation or something. I mean, something reasonable at least to figure out what it's worth, not just Estabot or something else.
Sure, you can't look at any of the tools and say that is an exact answer. You're saying that, the market dictates. If you look at real values, then you can say some fraction of that the CA is worth of the .com.
Right, and he's got a good audience to sell it to because some of the largest Bitcoin exchangers are in Canada. There's 2 or 3 that come to mind, so you should contact them.
Yep. Rick, this question's for you. It's related to coinsmart.com, which I think you identified as a brandable that you thought was decent, if I remember. Glenn submitted that one, and he said he's received a number of low 4-figure offers on coinsmart.com. Should he take it or should he hold out?
Well, if you're getting a number of offers, that means there's a demand, and then it becomes your circumstance. I mean, if you need the money, it's one thing. If it can hold out, you have probably a valuable asset that may become more valuable, and that's the way to look at it, I think. It really depends on your situation, but it's good that you're getting a lot of contacts, and eventually you may get the right one.
Yep.
I mean, look, the value of that domain name is what the guy has in his mind to do with it. That's where the value lays. It isn't because, it has X amount of letters in each letter. No, it's what their idea is. So you have to wait for the guy that has $1 million idea and that's what I ask people when I sell. I want to know what their idea is. I mean, are they opening up a lemonade stand or are they opening up a department store? And I let them know right up front. Listen, guy, if you're opening up a lemonade stand, I'm not your guy. I'm just going to tell them and deal with it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, also, Rick, I'll let you take this one first. BitcoinWallet.com has sold in the past for $250,000. According to AdWords, Google AdWords, Bit-Coin gets over 30,000 exact match searches per month in the United States. Now, Steve, who is registered Bit-CoinWallet.com, you provide advice saying the hyphen's in the wrong place. That is not worthwhile. He wants to know, do you still feel like that, given the fact that there are 30,000 people in the United States searching for Bit-Coin?
Listen, a search and someone typing in your domain name are like a football field apart times a million. I mean, the relevance sometimes is not what people think, and they're so hung up on search, it doesn't translate all the time to type-ins, and Google doesn't always report. You're relying on Google, and they don't give you information. It's not pure information, man. It's based on different things. Oh man. It's like seeing eye dogs. I mean, it really, hey, am I going to tell you? Everyone's going to tell me I'm a Neanderthal, and you should be using these tools. But listen, I look at these tools as not tools sometimes, but crutches. Okay, so I can turn it around. I may be a Neanderthal, but guess what? You're using crutches, and that makes me ahead of you as a lousy Neanderthal because I don't need the crutch. And look, it's like going to McDonald's and they can't make change of a 20 without the cash register telling them what to do. So at the end of the day, which is more valuable? If the electric goes out and you can't make change of a 20, what value do you have? I mean, it really sometimes you become over-teched, and that's what this is just becoming over-teched. And that's why some of the domain names we see suck so bad, because they're looking at all this garbage data and they're not looking at Main Street and saying, what is someone willing to pay? Why would this domain be valuable to somebody else other than just me?
Yeah.
I'll get off the soapbox.
All right. a few people said, hey, what's my domain name value? And either the domains were specifically referenced in the Domain Sherpa review or they weren't, which means that they don't have much value. So I'm not even going to bring those up. Also, Danilo asked a question regarding his bitcoinmax.com brandable domain name. I would say, Danilo, go watch the Domain Sherpa review again this week. Look at what Mike Berkens said about Castor and Page House said about Castor and the difference between a brandable of two made-up words like Bitcoin Cheetah and something that takes advantage of a prior common society norm.
Don't put two X's on it.
Right, and there's two X's on it too. Well, TJ Maxx has made a success out of two X's, but
remember something else. So there's something else. When you take something like Bitcoin, whatever.com, you can put any damn word in the dictionary basically there.
Yeah.
So if you can basically put any word in the dictionary, at least be selective with the words. I mean, maybe something that actually goes together that makes sense, and but any word goes there.
Yeah.
You know what? There's more variables there than half of the GTLDs that are coming out.
Yeah, it's like when Mike talked about pink coin. So say of the top 2,000 words, pink might be in the top 30, and this dash coin might be the 3,950th best word. So there's a huge difference between the words and which one you want to have in your inventory.
Yeah.
Does anybody happen to know what the value of Bitcoin was the last 2 weeks ago when Rick picked the topic and compared to what it is today?
It's about almost half. It's about $5 or $6 today.
It's the same.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
It went down a couple $100 a coin.
Well, do you know what it is, Mike? I looked yesterday and it was frozen at 528 or something because Mt.
It's
Gox
never been
has
frozen.
shut down.
It's never been frozen.
Well, it's frozen on the top-rated Google result.
It was the top-rated one a year ago. They used to trade Magic the Gathering cards on that website. And for the last month, if you've been buying on Mt. Gox, all you've been buying is an option if they found their Bitcoins as to how much your Bitcoin, as to whether you would get one of the ones that they found. So I think it messed up months ago, and all the Bitcoins that they lost could be in the market, but I think it happened months and months and months ago.
I'm showing 568. I think it was around $800 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
So 2 weeks ago was what, January 22nd?
Well, it's down 50%.
No.
It's down nearly 50% since I first.
No, it's February. It was February 14th, like Valentine's Day-ish. 14 days. February 12th.
Okay.
So who owns Bitcoins on the panel?
I have my one that was given to me.
I sold mine.
I got 20 of them.
20.
I sold mine.
Pages out. Adam has never owned a Bitcoin. Do you, Adam? Didn't you sell one recently for a Bitcoin?
Domain name, but the guy's taking a while, so it hasn't closed yet.
Oh, it hasn't closed. All right. So, what do you guys think of the Mt. Gox situation? Just a hiccup?
Yeah, it was 620. It was 620 on the 14th.
620.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rick? You worried about your 20 Bitcoins?
Sure. Listen, it's a very volatile thing, but look, it's a very interesting thing. It's very volatile. There can be the governments are going to be all over this stuff because they're the ones that are threatened. The monetary system is what's threatened because this basically takes the power away from governments and gives it to people, and that's a very dangerous thing for governments. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out. It can go either way, and it's like everything else. I'm a businessman that diversifies, and I'm into all kinds of different things. I go as wide as I can and as deep as I can into each thing, and when it all blows apart, you hope you got something that at least you can put a roof over your head and have a couple of square meals.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about new GTLDs. Every night, people are looking at the zone files and seeing how many new domain names are showing up on those zone files. Mike Berkens, you just posted today that Namecheap.com had registered 423.sexy domains and 130.tattoo domain names. as of publication, which was, I don't see a date. Anyways,
That
yesterday.
was today.
Oh,
That was
today.
today.
Today. But it was from yesterday's zone files, right?
No, that was actually a live. That was a live count from the registrar.
Okay.
So it wasn't from the zone files. So, we don't know exactly how much-
553 domains across 2 TLDs.
Right.
What do you guys think about that? Is that a pretty poor showing?
520, is that what it was?
500.
I mean,
it's only Namecheap, and it's 20% of all the registrations. But Namecheap is the #1 registrar for those 2 TLDs, .sexy and .tattoo, if I'm not mistaken. Mike?
Well, I tried.
Is that
yeah,
correct,
I mean,
Mike?
Can't get them anymore.
I think considering there was like 45 or 50 registrars, I mean, it's obviously a strong showing by any one of them. So I think Namecheap did well, I mean, percentage-wise, but I don't think the extension did very well. We'll see how it does today. The files haven't been updated. But still, you know, what I was looking at last night, I went through and did a little post about some of the brands that had gotten their sexy domains. And, you know, I found some, like, really kind of crazy registrations, which it's just really hard to get around, you know, and when you have a blank piece of paper like you do on the first day of an extension, to find domains registered like sexyladies.sexy. I mean, or I saw sexy.sexy. Or there was Steve McQueen.sexy. I think that guy died like 30 years ago, Steve McQueen.
Apparently he has some fans.
Apparently.
60-year-old fans.
So, I mean, and then I guess my favorite of the day was well-hey-there.sexy. I mean, how do you...
Did you check to see if well-hey-there.sexy was taken without the dashes?
No, I just went through the whole zone file to see trademark. Registered.
I have to come clean here. I registered about 4 of them.
Which one, sexy or tattoo, or both?
I got a few tattoos. The tattoo one I like is washable.tattoo, which I think is, if anything, is decent. That's the only tattoo one I got. And then I did, on sexy, I did jewish.sexy, bitches.sexy, because every woman likes to be called bitches. But the one that I like the best is casual.sexy, because it's kind of a brandable play on words. And then I've got, do you think I am sexy? Do you think I'm sexy? Whatever the hell that is.
You think I'm .sexy?
Do you think I'm .sexy? Yeah.
5 words, Adam?
Hey, what the hell? It's a slogan. I'll come back to you when I sell it. It was only $17, so who
The
cares?
key is you got to put the dot in there, and if it sounds good with the dot, then it's a good name.
Hey,
I mean,
Mike,
the reason
I got
Guru
tips
did
once.
well, in my opinion,
Mike,
is that they're... No,
go ahead, Paige.
Go ahead, Paige.
I mean, I think you have to add the dot. So even a one-word new TLD is page.sexy. You know what I mean? It's a 3-word brandable name for your company.
That should
So
be
you got
available.
to add the dot. So the reason I think .guru's done so well is I think there is such a thing as a .guru, an online person who knows about stuff. But there's not such a thing as a .sexy or a .tattoo. The best thing for tattoo...
Well, you can get a dot tattoo on your arm if you want.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, if there was like a cyber tattoo, you know, like an online thing. So I think the dot has got to is part. You got to live with the dot. It's not just what's right of the dot and what's left of the dot. Is you got to have the dot too.
Paige, if you started selling cyber tattoos, people would buy them, and you just tell them to hold their arm up to the screen, and they get it. It's just like my favorite domain, the home circumcision kit or the home pregnancy kit, where we do it online. Nope, not pregnant. The ones that I like the best that I got are the .tips ones. I like some of those. So I don't know if you want to go into any of those, Mike.
Well, what'd you get? What are your favorites that you got?
Domaining.tips, webmaster.tips, affiliate.tips, and mentor.tips.
Yeah.
I think they're all decent.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm a seasoned domainer like everybody else on this panel, and I'm not blowing my brains away on these things. I bought like 8 so far of all of them. And some of them were securing my brand. The bottom line is if people are blowing their brain, timing is everything on these GTLDs, because if you blow your brains out now on the GTLDs, you're not going to have many when the really good ones or the better ones come out later, which I don't know, Rick doesn't think there's any good ones, but there may be some better ones later. And if you think you're going to get some quick flips on some of these and get your money back to buy later, you're crazy. So spend carefully. and go after ones that you're thinking of building a business on where somebody else might think about building a business, like domaining tips or webmaster tips or washable tattoo. I mean, think about it that way if you actually plan on reselling, but none of these are going to resell too quickly unless there's other domainers. If you go to a coffee shop, and you ask 20, or you go outside IBM or Microsoft, and you ask 10 or 20 people, what the hell a GTLD is? Have ever heard of .tattoo, .sexy, or .anything? You're going to get 19 out of 20 thinking you're crazy, maybe 20. So nobody knows what they are yet. Even kids in high school. Do a high school where they're so computer literate, they're on Facebook and Twitter, and they don't have a clue what any of this stuff is. It's all for resellers and domainers right now.
Yeah. Mike, what were you going to say?
I mean, I think with sexy, and just my opinion is that sort of sexy is on the wrong side of the dot, if you will. I mean, in language, you basically, sexy is a word that comes first. So you talk about sexy women or sexy girls or sexy clothes, or sexy shoes. I mean, it's pretty much all of the terms you would naturally think of would start with sexy, not end with sexy. I mean, there are a few. But it's more of a left of the dot thing than a right of the dot thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think there's other ones like .best, which is another one I think is sort of on the left of the dot. So you would talk about best doctor, best lawyer, best car, best TV, best whatever, best something.
Yeah.
And it's not something best, so it's just sort of backwards linguistically.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I have a couple. I mean, not too many. I think the other part of the story was that it seemed like a lot more domains were reserved by the registry than were represented that were going to be, renewed or reserved by the registry. So it seemed like a lot of stuff was actually held back by the registry. There's certainly names that are the best. Some of the natural sayings and phrases are on the ICANN collision list, so they can't be released, and so they're not available. So between the reserved names and the ICANN collision list, a lot of natural names weren't available to be registered. So I think some domainers are frustrated by that as well.
Yeah.
And then there's just some, as I said, there's just crazy registrations for the first day. I mean, hyphenated, two hyphenates, it's just crazy.
So I'm seeing a bunch of domain names. So it seems like the only market for the new TLDs right now are the 0.0000001% of end users that actually understand these new TLDs are coming out, and they bought them, like a clothing company, and they were 3-word clothing.com or .net, and they decided they wanted to be 2-word .clothing, and that makes sense for them. We've heard, I think you might have featured one of them, Mike, on your blog in a post. But the rest of them, or a majority of them, seem to be domain name investors that are speculating. They're buying domain names for $1,000 or $39, and then they're trying to flip them for $5,000 or $2,000 on Toby Clement's email newsletter or one of the other sites. Do you guys agree with that statement in general?
It's way too soon for that. Way too soon.
But I mean, I think you're right. That's who's registering them at the moment. Yes.
Let me just say something about my take on the GTLDs and especially what's come out so far. First of all, I haven't seen an extension come out. I've only seen words come out, and I think that's a difference. That's number one. That's why I like .web. That's an extension. Okay. Other things are words. It's
but you're defining your term extension as 3 letters, or what are you defining your extension at?
Well, not a word. Let's start with not a word. It doesn't spell something. An extension doesn't spell something. Okay, a word spells something. An extension is an extension. It's all it is. Now, it can be a word. I don't say it can't be a word, but if it is a word, it better be a damn good word that goes with millions and millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of combinations. That's why .web, everyone's going to blow their brains out, and when the real deal comes out, which will be .web, okay, regardless, that's going to be the #1 GTLD, okay? It's the #1 because that's the only one that you can put 100 million words before, and then if you added all the other ones together, you couldn't put 100 million combinations together, okay? So all these guys are going to blow out their brains. I'm on record as clear as day, and I'm going to have a really good time in a few years because all these guys are going to be broke and crying, and when the new stuff comes out that really does maybe have some value, they're all going to be out of the game, and it comes down to what makes sense and what will end users buy. That's why the .nets are going up in value. That's why I'm getting more .com inquiries right now than I've ever gotten in all the years that I've been in this business right now. And they're legitimate, and they're interested, and I'm having real discussions with people. And it's a whole different ballgame out there. And I'm telling you, words and extensions, big difference.
Mike, we bought 100 and we've sold 12.
You've bought 100 new TLDs. You've already sold 12. I can only assume that those 12 were to investors.
We're just flipping them for more than we paid for them.
Yeah.
But the only way I'm going to know what it's like to own a new TLD is to own one of these things and try to put a WordPress site up and try to put a username and tell someone about it and pitch it and get a realistic view of whether it sells or not. It's like Nordstrom used to have this thing called the fall sale where they put their best merchandise out to see if it's sold, and they could tell based upon what's sold what they should keep buying. So for me, there's what I think and there's what's really happening. So, we put another 30 of them on Domain Outlet. We'll see if they sell. If they don't, I'm not going to buy that many more of them. And if they do, I'll keep buying some.
So you're basing your analysis on the data that you gather from it, building a site, seeing how it goes in the search engines, buying some domain names, putting them up, and seeing which ones sell. So if I go to DomainOutlet.com and I click on your .directory, I see 4 domain names that are .directory listed. You probably own more that aren't listing them. I see guys.directory, prom.directory, Silicon Valley.directory, and the internet.directory. I see the internet.directory for $199. I'm going to assume that you hand registered it for maybe 24, 34, 39, somewhere in that order of magnitude.
What site are these on, Mike?
These are on DomainOutlet.com, Page's website, domain marketplace. And so you're basically flipping them for 1 time to 5 times what you paid for them, and you're gonna just look at the data.
If I'm a picker, then I should be able to pick good domain names that other people that can't even understand the process, much less which registrar, much less which EAP, much less what's held back, Sunrise, trademark, whatever. You know what I mean? Some people just want to see stuff and say, "Oh, I never thought about that. I'll buy it." Yeah. So that's the market right now. Now, there's some that I want to keep, like, green.directory, and say, okay, there could be such a thing as a .directory for all the green companies in the entire world. So I'll take an option for, $600 or whatever I paid for that it could be worth $1.5 million and it could be worth nothing. But as long as they price them where they put all the domain names out at the same price and they let me pick, then it's a buffet. And sometimes you go to the buffet and all the shrimp are gone. The shrimp as big as your fist. Sometimes they're gone. And sometimes there's a steak there, so.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but what Paige is saying is what you would do for any domain name. You build it out, you try to get traffic, you try to grow it, you see who's interested, and you tell people about it. You do that for any domain name you want to sell. So he's doing the right thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to get the word out there.
Yep. All right, let's talk about Uniregistry. There's been rumblings that this new registrar is going to open up with ICANN's relaxed rules about registries being underneath the same umbrella. Uniregistry is going to open up their registrar. Does anybody know when that's actually going to open up?
March 8th.
March 8th.
It was supposed to be February 20th, and it got pushed back.
Has anybody seen it prototyped?
I have.
No.
Yeah, what do you think, Mike?
I think it's really interesting. It's I don't know how much I could say about it, but I think it's going to be incorporate a lot of the parking clients and the clients who have names for sale and domain name sales. It's going to give them an opportunity. Of course, things may have changed. I haven't seen it since November, but it was going to give people an opportunity to make some money on some new GTLD registrations. Not ones that they registered, but ones that maybe other people registered, coming from their lead or their domain. So it was a pretty intense, very cool, encompassing thing. I think it's Uniregistrar is what that's going to be, and it could be a game changer for domainers. It could give them another source of revenue. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing up and live.
Yeah. All right. .la page. What do you want to talk about .la again for?
.nyc. If you ever read the application, there's all kinds of preference periods, and again, they're acting like it's scarce and that they've got to give it to these people. And
Right.
I'm the fool who keeps buying .la because it's there. I can buy it at a market price, no sunrise, no trademark. I mean, I still have to be careful. I can't buy a trademark name, but if a name has, multiple uses and mine's fine, I can do it. So everyone's waiting for the geos to come out, and they're like, well, we'll buy .la when the geos come out. We still keep buying it now. So.
Yeah, why are you buying it now? Do you own a part of that registry?
Nope.
You just talk about it because you believe in .la and you have a relatively large portfolio?
I mean, it's a black swan trade. I look at it and I see it perfectly lined up, and it's not working. So either none of the GTLDs are going to work, because if you can go buy, I think we bought like valetparking.la yesterday. It's not an awesome name, okay? But I mean, it's still, if you're in the valet parking business in LA, you don't need to own valetparking.com. You could own valetparking.la. And if that works, then it works. And people want to say, well, I think there's more of a risk that GOTLDs don't work and that NYC is going to have trouble and all these ones are going to have trouble. Then all of a sudden they're going to be hugely successful, and then people will understand .la. But I could be wrong. It could be like Rick said. I've got to take people and show them what it actually is. I can't just ask them to imagine it. They need to be put right over the shoulder and say, this is what you need.
Right, but there is a difference between .nyc and .la, and that's a big difference, is that .nyc is built for New York City. It's in cooperation with the city of New York. It's ideally going to be promoted by the city of New York, whereas .la is a CCTLD reassignment.
Right, so in one, you have the promise that a government entity is going to all of a sudden become a great TLD marketer, whereas no one else has marketed a TLD ever in the history of time. They've just made it available on certain registrars and say it's there because it's there, you should get it. So, yeah, it would be great if anyone ever promoted their TLD. But you've also got restrictions. They're going to make you have an address in New York City. They're going to give preference to people that do business with New York City. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have this whole new land grab of sunrise names based upon people saying, well, I want, buses.nyc because I have a bus business or something. I mean, and this one's free and easy. You can get what you want. It's market-based. So,
well,
yeah.
You're also going to have, usage by the city. So a lot of the domains, the NYC names like buses.nyc is likely going to be owned by the city and used, by the city for transit. So, subways.nyc, and, so there's going to be a lot of names that the city is going to retain and they're going to use, which usage is really good. And, there is, Newstar that, does have, they're actually the operator of the extension, and, at least it appears that...
They did great with Kids US.
Yeah, well, they never got it. They
had it forever. They always had it.
You at .us, yeah. Well,
yeah, and they never did anything. So,
right.
They've spent exactly zero money on TLD marketing, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I do think there is a big difference between a city-backed TLD like NYC or .London, which, that city is really behind it, and they have a whole staff of people working on it in London, and a .la, which is Laos, CCTLD, and is not used by the city or backed by the city. So it's just it's different ballgame.
Time will tell, and we'll have the data to talk about it. Hey, the thing I forgot to bring up about Uniregistry and .sexy and .tattoo is that those two TLDs are not being sold at GoDaddy, if I'm correct. Is that right, Mike?
That's correct.
And that's because Uniregistry is requiring for a registrar to sell those that they provide information about the purchase, the registrant purchase information to be provided back to Uniregistry. Is that correct? Do I have my understanding?
I think they just want to have more. I think they want to have some sort of direct contact to the customers of the registrar, and some of the registrars aren't willing to do that. I mean, that's part of the reason, I think. But it's not available on, as I wrote the other day, on 9 of the top 10, although Namecheap considers themselves to be a top 10 registrar and certainly are by volume, but they're a reseller of Enom, so officially their stats are included in Enom stats.
Right.
But so Network Solutions and Register.com and the rest of the, of the top 10 official list of registrations, 9 of 10 are not carrying those Uniregistry right now.
All right. And that makes sense, right? Because I think I was reading on either Domain Name Wire or Domain Insight that the customer base is the most important thing that registrars have, and that they use domain names in a lot of cases as loss leaders to get upsell to, domain privacy or hosting or whatever other services are. So if they were to provide that contact detail of the domain names to Uniregistry might be able to use that to convince people to come over to Uniregistry from those other registrars. Is that a legal worry?
I mean, Uniregistry, Uniregistry is a registry and Uniregistrar is a registrar. So, I mean, it's unusual, because they're going into the registrar business as well. So they're going to be, while they're a customer at this point of GoDaddy, if they would be a customer of GoDaddy, they're going to be a competitor to GoDaddy shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a very interesting business.
I think, Mike, some of it is if you're a TLD manager, you don't necessarily, you want some control over trying to grow your TLD. We always talk about you need end users, you need websites, and I think you could have a registry that's like, we want to say that people are in the .sexy club or the .tattoo. You're in something, and we're going to help grow it and seed it instead of just saying we hope it works. Like some of these other ones that have come out. So I don't know if the information grab is as much to steal customers as it might be a registry realizing that they've got to lead the troops, so to speak. But I don't know with information that they're grabbing that kept some of the registrars from doing it. I just know I couldn't find a place to register them, so I didn't register it.
Yeah. All right. Adam Dicker and I are taping a show this coming Monday. It is volume 2 of one of the most popular.
Hold on. What do you mean one of these
shows on DomainSherpa?
The most popular show on the blog. One of these.
How to sell a domain name. We did this show over a year ago.
A year? It's 4 years.
4 years.
What's the matter
Well,
with
it
you
is
today?
over a year ago. I'm not incorrect.
It's
I don't have the
definitely
data
over a
in
year
front of me.
ago.
You caught
That's
me
true.
with this. We are revisiting it on Monday. So if you want to hear how Adam Dicker is now selling domain names 4 years later, stay tuned for Domain Sherpa. Sign up for the newsletter for that. Anything you want to tease the audience with, Adam?
No. You and I still get emails almost every day from people that watched that video 4 years ago. So I'm looking forward to it. I think you and I have grown in the industry. And I think we've got a lot more to offer, so I think it's going to be a really good show. So I'm looking forward to redoing it. It's been a long time coming, and we're going to knock them dead.
Me too. It's going to be a great show. I just saw calzone.org has delegated has announced that 4 TLDs have been delegated to the root zone. Some domain IDN that I can't even pronounce. .actor, .christmas, and .pub. Do any of you guys like .actor, .christmas, and .pub?
No. I like .Christmas.
But I mean, there's not going to be a huge amount you can do with .Christmas though.
No.
Still
I like
other way
it.
around.
You think it's backwards, Paige?
Yeah. I mean, it's Christmas presents, Christmas gifts, Christmas lists, Christmas travel, and then when it's at the end, you have the stuff like Adam did in Sexy. You have the phrases. All I want for .Christmas.
Yeah, and the other thing you can do is take a look at .pub. The size of the pub is a bar, and look at it as a publishing GTLD, and see if that helps a little bit.
There's also going to be a .press, and there's a couple of other ones along that vertical. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I'm trying to look at what other domains, new GTLDs that are coming in that vertical, and the ones that will work in, domains that could possibly work in reverse as well, and trying to stay away from them to some extent. So I knew Guru has done really well, but part of their success is certainly based on the fact that they were out first. I'm not sure if Ninja had launched first that it wouldn't have those numbers, or Tips or Expert or several other ones. So it'll be really interesting come renewal time when most of the new ones are out. and people realize what maybe their premium prices are on the renewals that they didn't really know about, and see what happens. I played a little bit. I played a little bit in the diamonds, dot diamonds.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, because it doesn't have really too much vertical competition or overlap or reversing the words in the right spot. It's at the end, and I thought that, and it's an expensive item, and I registered yellow dot diamonds in the second EPA.
You scurvy dog.
Yeah, so I got my Rob report the other day for February, and I opened it up, and right here is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a 2-page spread for Tiffany yellow diamonds.
And the URL is yellowdiamonds.com?
I was hoping that would make it till Sunday, Mike, so good job.
Sorry. So the URL for what? No, it's yellow.diamonds. But, I mean, this is for Tiffany. But, yeah. I mean, it's a 2-page spread, and it talks about, yellow diamond. So, and they show all yellow diamonds, and those suckers
are 6 figures. Hey, Rick, do you think that Mike is wasting his money by buying a word instead of an extension?
No, not at all, because Mike knows what the hell he's buying. He's not buying shit. I mean, he's taking a calculated risk on something that could have great value. Look, diamonds are very high end. If it hits, he hits a jackpot. That's worth the risk. But to sit there and get the crap I see coming, you look at the what's getting registered, it's like, you got to be kidding me. Here you go into a diamond mine, and they got diamonds this big, maybe, and they're coming in little tiny things. It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, look, if you're my whole point is, if you have an extension that only has a few hundred real great domain names, you better be getting one of those. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, some of these extensions may only have 20 great combinations. Well, if you get one of those great 20, fine. But if you get one of the other garbage ones, and that's what I see everyone registering so far is mostly garbage, that's what you're getting.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, how many dot diamonds did you buy?
Somewhere around 10, I think. We have big diamonds and round diamonds and colored diamonds. Yeah,
were you trying for that one also, Paige?
I was waiting for Sunday. He got it on Saturday. You got it on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Can we get Mike Berkens? Can we get an update on how Dot Horse is doing?
Dot Horse. I don't,
how many offers have you gotten on buya.horse?
I don't think any of my names have servers or alive at the moment. To be honest, I'm not a flipper. I didn't buy these things to sell them anytime soon. Busy, and I'll get them live, in a little bit, but it's not a big priority for me. So
Mike, those weren't live, right? That's just the Minds and Machines pre-reg.
Right, that's pre-reg. So they're not even mine.
Yeah.
They're not even
they haven't even told you what, because like they're taking pre-regs for .ceo, and then other companies are taking pre-regs for CEO, and they says they're trumps it, and those guys won't even disclose anything. So that's like a big mystery box to me.
Yeah, I think Horse is. I think Minds and Machines is actually the registry for Horse, where they're not the registry for .ceo.
Yeah.
So on a .horse, I think if you get it at Minds and Machines, unless it's trumped by a Sunrise trademark application, you will wind up getting it, but it's not live, isn't delegated, can't use it right now.
Because we got some of the CEOs with the same language and the same shopping cart that says if it's not trumped by a Sunrise, you get it. But then we can go. So I mean, it's a mess.
CEO isn't. Is again, the registry isn't Minds and Machines, so it's another.
I know, but they're using the same language at their site when you buy the pre-registration as .horse. They're saying you get it unless there's a Sunrise. So that's what they're saying.
I don't know. Give Anthony a call.
They don't either. They don't know either. Or they don't want to say. They make it very cryptic. Yeah.
It's not an easy process for sure.
Hey, let's talk about .co.com. So this is the Ken Hansen, Greg McNair, Paul Goldstone's registry. I don't know whether to put it in quotes or what. They're selling domain names. They're back. I think they're using CentralNick. that went to Sunrise today. Do you think that they're going to see success like some of the other new TLDs, or do you think they'll see more registrations?
I think they'll do okay. I think they'll get, I think they'll do okay. It depends. I think, for that particular extension, it needs to get into the registrars, and it needs to get into the name spinners. So if you can go into, if you get into like a GoDaddy, because again, they own half the market, so you could see, part of the .sexy, the .tattoo, and why they only had, 2,500 registrations, has got to be because 9 out of the top 10 registrars weren't carrying them. So if they can get into a GoDaddy and they can get into the name spinner, and if somebody, types in, computers.com and to see if they're available, which people still do, and the computer, and it spins around, and one of the choices that they get, could be computers.co.com. They can get something like buy.computers, or, computers, buycomputers.co, or, some other extension, a couple of premium names. There'll be people that'll pick the .co.com. A lot of people still don't, they don't know what to buy, and they just buy, right? So if they just see a menu of things and they see different names at different price points, a lot of people some people are gonna say, okay, well, I can get that for whatever, $30, and this one's $3,000, and this one is that, and the people will pick.
Yeah. All right, I think I've exhausted all of the topics that you guys submitted. Anything else that you guys want to chat about before we conclude today's show? Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you all next week in some form or another. We'll discuss it after the show. All right,
Don't
guys.
blame me.
Have a great week.
Bye. Yeah, sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.